So I'm looking at the brake actuation, whatever it's called, the rat trap, and I think that what's going on is that this assembly seized. Now this is based on some information that I've gotten from some of the guys on the Rolls Royce forum. So they've given me some pretty useful information. What it looks like is that those springs are extended all the way, right? And it's just locked in place. So I'm going to try to figure out if I can get this thing kind of loosened up, moves freely. Right now I tried to pry on it on a screwdriver and it is on tight. So I'm guessing what's going on over here, you see that little piston? That's supposed to push in and out, and when it does, it actuates the valve, and it's probably just depressed all the way, you know, and that's why the brakes are locked up. So here's what I found. I cleaned up a little bit of some gunk of the rat trap. There was I just dumped a can of brake clean all over it just to, you know, clean off any kind of residue. The pedal is still depressed down, so the springs possibly, if those are the springs that basically control the foot pedal, then they're not doing a good job, right? The springs must be really weak, which is what some of the guys at the forum suggested, right? So I have to give them credit for that. They did a good job. Let's see what happens. So right now the car's in neutral, and I'm gonna try to. Now, as you can see, the brake lights are still on, so I don't know what the deal is here. Car's in neutral. So now I'm dropping it into gear. And it still appears to be locked up. And the engine feels like it's working a little bit harder. So I'm gonna blip the gas and see if I can get this thing freed up. So I felt it overpower the brakes right now when I blip the gas. Let's try to do that again. So that didn't work as well as I expected. Let me get underneath the car again and take a second look, but it looks like the brakes are still very much locked up. So let's take a look, figure out what's going on. Okay. And I was able to push that brake pedal far back enough to basically come off the brake switch. So with the brake switch now, you can see it's not engaged. So I'm guessing it's pushed back far enough. So I'm going to lower the car again and see if I can now start it and whether the brakes are fully engaged. because I'm guessing that if that brake pedal, if the brake lights are on and the brake switch is engaged, then the brakes are on. So let's see what's going on. I'm also getting this pretty significant drip coming from here. Can you see that? And it looks like it's coming from this piston over here, the lower one. So not sure exactly what to do about that deal. But let's start one thing at a time. Let me get underneath, get out from underneath this car, put it down on the ground, and see what goes on. Okay. This car is kind of still a little bit smoky when it runs, so can't leave it running for too long. I need to leave it running for a very long time so that I can just clean out all the fuel that's in there. Okay, so let's put it back in park. Okay, reverse, neutral. So now it's in neutral. Okay. See, those tail lights or brake lights? Let's see. Okay. So you see, brake lights are still on, which is somewhat kind of a. The brake lights are still on and the brake switch is still activated. It could be a faulty switch, but we'll see. Car's running. Let's drop it into gear. And nothing. And you can hear it struggling because that's the engine basically struggling against the brake pressure. Alright, so that didn't do very well. Alright, let me put it back up in the air and keep playing. So there's 3 springs, and none of them seem to do a damn thing, right? So there's 3 springs on the actual valve that connect to the pedal and connect it to that main distribution valve. And there's 2 pistons, right? There's one in the front and one in the back. But those springs don't seem to be depressing the brake pedal. So every time I'd run the engine would start choking up, and the brakes would be applied. I just got in the car, I lowered it, as you can see, I lowered it, and I just basically started just working the brake pedal backwards and forwards, just constantly, pumping it, and I think I made some progress. So again, I'm putting in park, neutral. Not moving. Now it's moving. Well, it's moving on that side. Not sure why it's not moving on this side. So you can see the brakes are still trying to apply and such. So the brakes are still applying as pressure builds up. So again, this side is not moving, but the other side is. See that? It eventually wants to slow down again and stop. Yeah. Oh, can you see the smoke there? I'm not sure what's going on over there. So maybe the calipers are... Oh yeah. So it's still applying the brakes, but it's doing better. So I'm not sure what I'm doing by jigging the pedals. Maybe I'm... by applying the brakes aggressively, I'm depressurizing the system, and that's what's causing it to free up more. But it seems like the problem may be in that valve itself. We'll keep looking, but I think. Okay, guys. So I've taken the rat trap off. I'm sitting over here. I just shot it with a little bit of brake clean. What I've also done is I've unloaded these springs so that I could try to move this valve backwards and forwards and see, what the issue is. As a gentleman on the forum indicated, let me get my flashlight on my cell phone. Right, so the pistons may be seized on the top one. You can see there. Let me see if I can show you. You see how this guy is depressed all the way in, whereas the one on the bottom is out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to move this around and then use a little bit of lubricant to see if I can get this all freed up. As I mentioned, there was a fire in the, on the, I guess by the EGR, or maybe I didn't mention that in the video, but I mentioned it on the forum. So all the wires to the brake switch are all burnt up, which probably is why they're all, the brake switch lights are lit. So I'm going to have to do some rewiring there. But right now, my first order of priority is to see if I can get this thing to move freely. Okay, alright, so give me a few minutes and I'll mess around with it, and then I'll give you guys an update. Hey guys, so I've got the valve off the main assembly, and I'm going to take the back off. I'm talking to some guys on the forums, and they're kind of walking me through this process. So let me see if I can get that off. Oh. That's off. So I got this little spring loaded, well, it's a screw but with a spring on the inside of it. Nothing really to it. See, let me get a pickup tool from the toolbox. See if we can grab this guy. Okay, can put that there. Alright. Sorry about that, guys. I wanted to take a picture of the inside. So what they said is to give it a quick knock, see if you can drive the piston out. So I'm going to give that a go and see if I can kind of just tap it free a little bit. So we'll see what happens.